Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic and the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series here in March of 1985. A very interview heavy show, so it might be a quicker review than normal. As we've got a lot of interviews and a lot of developments here in this particular episode, March 16th, 1985. El Diablo versus Brian Adias. Adias, a guy who has returned home after some time away, going around the world, going to be positioned, I assume, as a bigger star as we go deeper into the spring and summer of 1985. But here, used as a way to get him more over with the fans who might be new or who might not have seen his foray and want to see him as a bigger star here. Basic match. Diaz is a guy that I think people kind of sleep on in that he's almost like a Johnny Mantel type. Always good in the ring, but never really flashy. Gets several minutes out of a head scissors, and you know Diablo, a masked star. They always seem to have at least one, if not two, in the area. I assume that's part of being close to the Mexican border and lucha libre being a thing. I also assume it's an easy way to get an extra guy on a card if you need to fill out a card. So always a good way there. Lots of ground wrestling by Diablo and into the hammerlock, into the very basics of things. Big body slam by Diablo, and not exactly a full highlight match for Adias, but Brian certainly gets done what he needs to get done. Hooks in a figure four, and very rare that we see a figure four gain a victory, but we do see it here. So Adias successful here. Chris Adams up next with an interview where he fires Gary Hart. He basically says that Hart stepped in on him and spoke for him and did things for him that's not appropriate. This is from the Dallas TV. Gary Hart is angered by this, and they Adams says that Hart spoke for him, made a big deal for him, and that he is not satisfied with this. We then see that, in fact, Chris Adams is, assaulted by the one man gang later in the program. No one stands up to Gary Hart, and that's what the interview next is about. Gary Hart is dissatisfied with the fact that he got Adams a shot at Ric Flair. He got Adams to the American Heavyweight Championship. Gary Hart is livid, and so we might see some Gang versus Adams matches. He also has Gary Hart against Gino Hernandez, calling him a punk, and so maybe we're going to see, I guess, Adams and Hernandez remain connected without the influence of Gary Hart, so that'll be interesting in the weeks and months to come. But suffice to say, somebody stepping in on Gary Hart's authority is a big deal. Hart also screams about Adams not being able to fire him, and that Hart was going to be the one to fire him. We move into I don't really want to call it a filler match, but a match that certainly is a bit of a surprise. The returning Skip Young, who we haven't seen in a while, so he must have gone away and came back, learned a new hold, as Jim Ross might say, against Johnny Mantel. Mantel always used as a guy who is there to bring the most out of guys who might be need to be tested, and we see a lot of ground wrestling early. Skip Young, of course, a former tag team champion with Iceman King Parsons, who we haven't seen in a while. Maybe Parsons left the territory. We haven't seen him in a few months here. Maybe got an injury too. I don't really know. But anyway, head scissors by Young. Young, a guy who did not meet his full potential here in World Class. So maybe he'll come back for the summer, or maybe he's just here for a one-off. Sometimes guys come through if they're doing some traveling and pick up some extra work. Never really did understand the concept of picking up extra work on television, but it does happen. And not work as an extra, completely different thing. So I mean, hammerlocks and the like on Young, and then the Young goes back to the armbar, stays with the hold. Very basic wrestling match, and also a what I call a holds based match. So there's always somebody within 30 seconds to a minute working on a body part. Mantell probably more your heel. Young being the babyface because he's a little more flashy. They fight quite a while here, actually going to a time limit draw, and they do shake hands at the end of that. So that's there. Then we move into, I remember I said it's an interview heavy show. Another interview, this time with Sunshine. She hints at discussing her next man, her next protege, so to speak. Does not tell us who it is. Does kiss Bill Mercer on the cheek, kind of flirt with him, and he's impressed with this. She's wearing a fur coat. I don't know that wearing a fur coat, she being Sunshine, I don't think that would fly today with the animal rights activists, but we're talking 1985, and that did fly then. Your main event is up next. They're given a good, well, almost 20 minutes here. The Fantastics and the Midnight Express for the American Tag Team Championships. Oddly enough, we haven't seen the All Asian Tag Team Championships in a while, so maybe they abandoned those titles without telling us. Anyway, Fulton and Rogers against Condrey and Eaton with Jim Cornette it's a winner anytime you go for it. Lots of heavy impact early, but they don't waste a lot of motion, just a lot of intensity. Obviously, the Midnight Express have been champions everywhere they've gone. To think that they were just a throw together team originally is really just bizarre. Bill Watts threw them together because didn't know what to do with them, and it made it work in Mid South. Eventually, gonna do a Mid South run through as we are doing here. Anyway, Eaton kind of backs Tommy Rogers into the ropes, and they struggle for a bit. One thing I like about Eaton is he always struggles, even with basic holds. His facials show it. And Jim Cornette, speaking of facials, if you want to be a manager, Jim Cornette's someone to study. Probably one of the top three. Certainly, actually, is one of the top three of all time, and I will get that as that is my phone. But we will be back momentarily here, right here on the World Class Review Series. And again, I mean the match continues, and it's very well done. Um, and why wouldn't it be with the two teams involved? But so and I would even venture to say that with this Cornette is. I don't know that the Midnight Express without Cornette would have been as successful. Um, you know, even when Bobby Eaton or Dennis Condrey is breaking things down into holds, Cornette on the outside, his facials and body animations are such that it adds to it for people in the crowd and even the camera at home. The Fantastics do cut off the ring on Bobby Eaton for a few minutes. I've always been more a belief that Eaton should have been the guy saved for offense, but that's a personal preference thing. Regardless, Tommy Rogers completely goes off, drop kicks, backdrops, and the like. Blind tag by Dennis Condrey. Condrey comes in with a clothesline that rivals a lariat, and then beats down on Rogers for a few minutes here. Which it's so interesting because my first exposure to Tommy Rogers was the ECW 97 November 97 pay-per-view. Like I had not seen Tommy Rogers or remembered Tommy Rogers until that point, and now I go back and I watch him and I realize why he's so great. Anyway, Cornette gets upset on the outside, as is to be expected, takes a shot at Rogers, and gets things going back the way of his team. Referee does lose control for a little bit, as is always common in Midnight Express. and an actually really good power slam by um, by Bobby Eaton, and power slam's not exactly something I expect Eaton to do. Rogers takes a good bit of punishment and really is the heat of the match for the next several minutes. Then we kind of see a crawl through tag off hot tag to um, Bobby Fulton, and Fulton's cleaning house for several minutes here. Cornette becomes involved. The referee sees it, notices it, has enough of it, and they hold the tag team championships up here in World Class on the 16th of March in 1985. Referee makes that announcement as we close the program. But we will be back with more. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.